You said Main Street's not going to feel this. Main Street is already going to feel this.
The majority of Main Street is already dead. We were bleeding out.
If they get worse for 6 months, the people that recently moved over
they might feel better, but they'll still die out. It only treats the symptoms, right? What people have been doing?
Got it. James. And then
in this room, I'm gonna be completely anti most people in this room, and I'm fine with that. Like normal, I'll take the heat, but I'll get my point out and I'm done, because the rest of this room is that Megan Cliff is gonna pretty much hump fucking Trump and act like this is just the greatest thing ever, and he hasn't done everything he needs to do. He didn't do mass deportations to try to make home prices come down by opening up a ton of homes. We haven't seen a lot of the things. We've got farmland being stripped by the federal government right now and taking ranchers' fucking lands from them, and yet we're like, oh, well, we got tariffs and everything's just gonna fix itself in 3 months. The fuck it is.
Nobody said that.
You just did say it would fix in 3 months. You did too.
Look,
no, I haven't actually.
Can I just say a couple of things real quick? All right, number one, you guys, I understand what Trump wants to do, and I understand that you're all behind the way that he's trying to do it, but this isn't what most Americans signed up for. Trump said he was going to come in and fix it, and things were going to be better very quickly, and that's not what he's doing. This is not something that's going to happen quickly, and it is going to hurt the American people, because things are going to cost more money, and the economy is going to get worse. So, and I understand you are saying, well, we need to take our medicine now so that we'll be better later. Well, most people are not in that position to take that. And they didn't sign up to take that. They wanted things to be better, but they didn't want to have have things get dramatically worse first. And so if you talk to them like it's not happening to them, or it's not going to happen to them, whether we're all looking at our 401ks getting destroyed over the last few days, right? Everybody's worried about, look, I'm in my late 50s.
How are the job numbers? I know there were paper losses. How are the job numbers, out of curiosity?
They're not paper numbers. When you're in your late 50s and you're looking at your 401k and it's dropping like that, don't tell me it's a paper loss. Because when I'm ready to retire, it's not going to be a paper loss. These are serious problems, okay? And you're minimizing them. That's a serious problem. And maybe jobs have, I've seen things under Biden when the job numbers were better, and you guys didn't care. But I'm just telling you, it's always, I know, it's always, look, it's always, it's not just, wait a minute. It's not just retirement. It's not just retirement, guys.
Where were you in 2009 when they were papering over all this? How come you didn't when Main Street was getting... Wait, just let me ask the question. Where were you in 2009, 10, 11, 12, when Main Street was getting pummeled? While they papered over and taxed the shit out of us and fucking turned the printer on full speed. Oh, now you care. Because all of a sudden you, with your portfolio, is starting to show some losses. What we're saying... And what probably was saying...
After 8% gains in 2 years, which is not normal.
It's not normal.
Look, I'm not just talking about I'm not just talking about 401ks, okay? This isn't just about retirement plans. That's where it's starting. Things are going to cost a lot more money. People aren't going to be able to afford it, and it's going to become a problem. And you guys could sit in here and say that it's not going to be a problem, and the American people are going to will take the pain.
It's been a problem for 40 years.
Not like this.
Oh, not like this.
You're right. Not like this. Absolutely right. It's
going up in that 37
listen, guys,
going up in the last 2 days. Tell me, Cliff. Tell me.
They're going to go up. The tariffs just went into effect, Mark.
Tell me which ones.
Which ones? How about automobiles? You don't think they're going to cost more money now?
No, only if you make them in Germany instead of the United States, and Ford's already proven that, so fuck Germany. But let me say this, because I'm probably the poorest motherfucker on this stage, okay? I guarantee that, okay? Everything has gone down, okay? My grocery bill was less this week, as Prodigal spoke about, right? When fuel prices are going down, your eggs, your milk, fucking pork, your beef, your fucking... When shit goes, what's that tell you? The kitchen table economy is better for fucking Main Street America. I don't give a fuck about the rest of this conversation. That's what's going to matter, is you're not going to be able to prove to the American people how bad the fucking economy is when they can afford to fucking eat, which they've been barely being able to afford. I'm not fucking like going on a limb and talking about my 401k, my retirement, and all that bullshit. We're talking about what's really happening in the real world. I was
leading off with that because that's where it started, right? But we know the prices on all these things are going to rise because of the tariffs. That's part of the problem. Even Rand Paul, who's a staunch supporter of the president, is against.
No, he is.
Yes, he is.
He is, but Rand Paul's got the ban. Even for big tech, he doesn't want to control it. Listen, he's a libertarian. I like Rand Paul, but he's a libertarian to the extreme.
He doesn't want to deport anybody. How is he a supporter of Trump's? This is when you know you're on the right side of history, everybody. When libertarians, J.P. Morgan, and people like San Francisco Tech Democrats, Mark Cuban, are all saying tariffs aren't going to work. This is how you know you're on the right side of history. It's almost satire at this point, and I'm sorry for breaking the line here. I got a small business too, like Aaron, and over the last 2 days, I've not heard a single customer say, "Don't install that $700." Install that $700 faucet. Don't go and find an American-made one. Honestly, it's a Main Street reset. It is not a Wall Street reset, and that is something that's lost on people. James, you just brought up crude oil. It's $63, and I don't want to hear they're gearing up for the summertime. Inflation is very much tied to crude oil, and all it's going to take is Canada to buck, because that's where we get that Alberta crude from and refine it down here. And if I don't understand how we're going to have inflation when crude oil might be sub $60 a barrel. You have to look at that. That's where the inflation comes from, everybody. So, and these are not tariffs in a vacuum. This is not 1897, and William McKinley's not president. Deregulation is a huge part of this, especially for small business. Deregulation, Doge, 25% of the GDP of this country comes out of one area code, 202. That's Washington, D.C. Elon Musk, if he's successful, and can lob off $1 trillion in spending, everybody, that's going to be a huge piece of this. The House and Senate Republicans, they're married to this Trump agenda now, whether they like it or not. They need an issue to run on in the midterms. They have to make those tax cuts permanent. Okay, that's 50% of it. It's not tariffs in a vacuum. We were a $20 trillion a year customer in the United States. I looked at a chart yesterday. You put all the EU countries together, they're about 19 trillion a year combined. So it would take all of the EU, it would take all of Asia to devalue their currency and do so much manipulation to inflict reciprocal pain on the United States under this plan. It's not happening, guys. There's just too many things that everybody else has to do as a reaction to to what Trump is doing. They're not all going to gang up and do X, Y, and Z. We've never had our leverage being used as the number one consumer on the planet, okay? China has 2 billion people. 70% of them are peasants. In this country, there's a homeless person in Chicago right now in a shelter who has $1,000 iPhone with their checking account on it and can buy a $20 item on Amazon. That's power, okay? It's tragic, but it's power. We're the number one customer in the world, and Trump is leveraging that.
I've never heard the word tragic power in the same sentence.
That's my take on it. I'm hearing some good stuff.
Dr. Mahmoud, what do you think about this episode of Trump Republicans Angry and Emotional?
And that's it. There are so many components to this reset. I just gave you a few. How about drill, baby, drill? Energy independence. Every day, Doug Berger is tweeting about how he's trying to open up offshore drilling, fracking in this country. We're going to be supplementing our energy with Canadian crude oil. We're not going to be dependent on it. All of these things are in place right now. So, let's kind of have a macro conversation instead of talking about,
your Robin Hood trading account the last 2 days.
Ooh,
Thanks, guys. And Cliff, do you want to?
should have sold at the top.
I mean, I pretty much made
I
the
don't
point I was
understand.
gonna
Didn't
make.
everybody start
It's this.
unloading?
Maybe you have the patience that you have in this room for this long-term plan. Most Americans don't and didn't want it. That's not what they signed up for. So, you'll see what happens. And it's a very radical thing that he's doing. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. But I'm telling you that if it doesn't start benefiting most of the American people quickly, you're going to lose Trump. Well, you can laugh all you want, but that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, we signed up for the Green New Deal and for them to shut down nuclear and coal plants and raise oil prices to $1.30. Like, don't have a short memory. When you guys want something, everybody's got to pay for it. You don't call it a tax. Oh, it's a carbon credit. We're going to tax what the cows for. We're going to get rid of gas in New York City. Everything you guys have pushed have been inflationary. Not just the spending, but the actual policies, killing American energy, over-regulation, and not only that, you guys were giving exemptions to foreign countries and trade. How the hell is the EU going to have a carbon market scheme and they're going to exempt their entire domestic industry, but the U.S. has to pay their carbon tax?
I'm going to make
whatever they want to, but the Biden administration applauded.
I'm going to make this point. I'm going to make
you
this.
guys applauded. How much more is solar and wind energy compared to natural gas?
I'm going to make this
natural
point.
gas has been all the gains for reduction in pollution and cheap energy. Don't talk now like you guys have cared about economics. Biden didn't even win all
Prodigal, Prodigal, here's the thing, right? You keep saying you guys as if it's only wait, hold on a second. I'm trying to respond to you a little bit, right? It's not just Democrats that feel this way. The problem with leftists, this is part of the problem. Anytime that somebody pushes back on something Trump does, it's the left. Or it's the Democrats. It's always somebody. This isn't just people on the left, and not just Democrats that have issues with this. I already brought up Rand Paul. Even Ted Cruz is not full-throating endorsing this. He even said this can't be a long-term thing that's going on. I'm telling you that you can try and backtrack this and play. What about?
We don't want to be long term.
But it is. Okay, this is not a. You're making a fundamental.
Everybody is like 3 to 6 months. Who wants
It's not going to take 3 to 6 months. This is a massive change in the economy.
France, before this happened, France was robbing its pensions for the second time.
I don't care. Prodigal. I don't care what they were doing in France. I'm telling you what the guy.
Cambodia already told.
Okay, look, I can't talk over you, so you let me know when you're done, and I'll try to talk.
Without any factual basis. China already offered a deal that was better than Trump's first deal that Biden failed to uphold.
Prodigal, you keep bringing this back to Biden, and I'm telling you that this isn't about Biden. This is about what Trump said.
I was bringing up China.
Okay, I'm trying to explain to you that
Germany removed its debt for its budget.
Prodigal, listen, let me make the point.
Now Germany cannot.
Prodigal, let me make
Germany has to make a choice. Am I going to engage in a trade war with the U.S.? Am I going to fund a war I cannot afford? This is not just about economic numbers. It's to make sure our allies align with us.
Prodigal,
U.S. trade and U.S.
I'm going to try to make this.
All you want to.
I can't get a word in edgewise. I mean, and I appreciate you. Look, you're a knowledgeable guy. I'm not trying to go point to point with you.
Fuck him. Just keep
What
talking.
I'm trying to tell you is that Trump ran on a plan that was to make things better quickly. And you keep talking about how the American people have been hurting for as long as they've been hurting, and they have no money in the bank. If they have an emergency, it could wipe them out. All these things, right? And Trump came in as the savior, that he was going to fix things almost, very quickly, that the Democrats were just idiots the way they were running the government. Just get me back in there, let me do my thing, and in a few months, things will be great. Okay? But that's not what's going to happen. Right? So people are going to start.
Time will tell.
Well, no. Time will not tell, because this is not going to be a quick fix.
The scalpel cuts the skin and the teeth. Oh my God,
this is 2 days.
It's not a quick fix. And you're going to, and if it, I'm just telling you, if it doesn't get better relative.
Cliff, Put your money where your mouth is. I'll do the same. I'll bet you $100 right now by September 1st that everybody in America thinks the economy's better. I will bet you right now in this space on record $100 this economy is better by September 1st. So put
Hold on. I have a question on this. What's the standard? That's pretty subjective. Can I be the judge? And yes, I do take Brian.
Yes, go. You can be the judge, and I'll let Cliff decide what the standard is because I am that confident. I don't care if it's kitchen table fucking out.
How can Cliff decide standard when he said that time won't tell? And obviously, time is going to tell in a
I said time will tell. That's what I said. Not time won't.
There's always going to be Cliff thing. It's always going to be the fucking thing.
Okay. I heard time won't. I retract.
That's fine. I mean, I was probably screaming and probably not listening to what I was saying.
Cliff, just keep going. You got the air. Keep going and finish. Go.
Yeah, look, I'm happy. Look, James, I'm happy to put $100 up. I don't know what the standard is. I'm not doing it for that.
Okay, I wasn't talking about that. Move back. Attack. Go back to your argument. Fuck the back. Go.
Like I said, this whole thing with you guys keep pushing things back to Biden and all you grievances.
You guys, who's
all right?
keep saying you guys tonight,
Prodigal, you keep
Be
Prodigal, you
Be
keep
careful, all right?
We said both sides, Cliff.
Prodigal,
We said everything.
Prodigal, you keep going backwards, and
I get a little triggered when you keep saying you guys.
I know, I hear you. I'll try to stay away from the you guys stuff. You're going back to the past. You're blaming predominantly Democrats for bad policy. You mentioned that to some degree, but that's not where most of it was. Okay, and the point is that's not what Trump ran on. Trump ran on that I'm going to fix this shit quick. People are already hurting in this country. They are already hurting, and if you hurt them worse, they're not going to be supporting Trump for very long. They're not the core. They're not core like you are. And believe in everything that he's doing, like it's going to work, and that he's a genius, and he's playing 5D chess or whatever the hell it is.
Nobody said that.
But I'm telling you, the American people.
Bold moves were made that haven't been made.
Look, maybe it works. I'm not saying it won't. You haven't heard me say that.
The status quo, you were dead.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but clearly everyone would like things to get better.
How much are interest payments on the debt? When Trump came in, the 10-year was almost at 5%. What are you talking about? You can look at the numbers.
I'm telling you what the American. I'm talking about the American people.
So let's just admit the economy was not great on the
Prodigal, he speaks for America. Go, Cliff.
Look, all I'm telling you, it's simple, right? If this economy doesn't get better very, very quickly, and people don't start to see very positive changes, not the stock market going crazy, not prices of things still being really expensive, and tariffs coming in that are going to make things more expensive, you can forget it. You're going to lose the people. He's in a honeymoon phase right now. And
you're going to lose Jersey. You're going to lose the midterms, Mark. Forget about Jersey.
There it is. He used the honeymoon.
You're done in Jersey, Mark. Cliff said it. You're done in Jersey. Forget about it.
Hey, Cliff, let me ask you this.
What?
So how's the $37 trillion worth of debt working out for you?
How's it going to be working out when Americans can't afford anything else?
Answer my fucking question.
There's no good things going on right now. Okay? I'm just saying blowing up the economy.
Let you talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Hold on. So, Jack, I'm going to go right back to you. I think we talk about this all the time, and if you come on our spaces, which we've been having forever, like for years now, and especially Cliff, who's been great, we've been talking to Cliff about shit that doesn't affect him, right? Well, the past 48 hours has obviously affected him.